Woo! Man, I got to tell you, that was close. I thought we were going to get through a season without hearing anything stupid out of Sheryl Swoopes' mouth and anything that sounds rather interesting, something that you might choose to give some side-eye to.
Is the pressure getting too intense for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever? NBA legend Sheryl Swoopes just dropped a bombshell, shaking the WNBA world to its core after some shocking firings. The WNBA offseason is usually a time for strategic planning, hopeful drafts, and quiet preparation. But the Indiana Fever clearly had other ideas. In a surprising twist that lit up the basketball world, the Fever made two bold cuts before the regular season even tipped off, waiving rookies Bree Hall and Yvonne Ejim. It wasn't just a minor roster shuffle. It was a decision that sent shockwaves through the league and ignited a firestorm of debate across social media.
Call me nuts, but unfortunately for the old WNBA fandom and media, in her case, media and old players, unfortunately, in some cases, you do feel like there is something else lurking behind said opinions that may not be basketball related. Let's put it that way.
And just as the dust was beginning to settle, none other than WNBA legend Sheryl Swoopes stepped into the spotlight. Again. Known for her sharp commentary and outspoken stance on the evolving landscape of the league, Swoopes didn't just comment this time. She launched into a scathing critique that took aim not just at Caitlin Clark, the Fever's crown jewel rookie, but at the organization as a whole. The controversy started when Bree Hall, a two-time NCAA champion from South Carolina, was waived before logging any significant minutes. Despite having the pedigree and potential to develop into a solid contributor, Hall barely had a chance to get her feet wet. She saw no action in the season opener against Washington and played only limited preseason minutes. Then, just like that, she was gone. As if that wasn't enough to rile fans, the Fever doubled down by cutting another promising rookie, Yvonne Ejim, the all-time scoring leader at Gonzaga and a powerhouse known for her work ethic and versatility. Ejim, like Hall, was sent packing before she had a real shot to prove herself on the court. The moves were painful to watch, not just because two bright careers were stalled before they started, but because of the cold reality behind them. Despite their promise, these players were caught in the harsh grip of roster limitations, salary cap constraints, and an unforgiving numbers game. With the Fever already carrying guaranteed contracts for seasoned veterans and a few untouchable young stars, there was virtually no room left to take chances on developmental players. This backdrop set the stage for Sheryl Swoopes to reemerge, and she did so with a vengeance. Known in some circles as the unofficial president of the Anti-Caitlin Clark Club, Swoopes has not held back in the past when criticizing Clark's rise to prominence. But this time, her commentary expanded beyond the star rookie. It became a broad indictment of the Fever's leadership, decision-making, and the subtle politics of roster management. Appearing on a recent episode of the Women's Hoop Show, Swoopes didn't mince words. She questioned head coach Stephanie White's rotation choices during preseason games, particularly why Hall saw so little time on the court if the team was still evaluating who to keep. According to Swoopes, it was baffling to see veterans like Lexi Hall and Sophie Cunningham get meaningful minutes, while a rookie with Hall's upside was sidelined.
Swoopes hadn't shied away from speaking her mind, as last season she raised questions about the legitimacy of Indiana Fever stars Caitlin Clark's collegiate scoring record. During the recent episode, Swoopes questioned Fever head coach Stephanie White's decision to give veterans like Lexi Hall and Sophie Cunningham minutes over Bree Hall and then cut her without giving her a fair opportunity to prove herself.
Swoopes' critique wasn't just about coaching strategy. It was about opportunity and fairness. She pointed out that Hall and Ejim didn't get the same runway as other players, raising questions about how decisions were really being made behind the scenes. And then came the part that made headlines. Swoopes implied that race and favoritism might be influencing who gets the benefit of the doubt in the Fever's system. It wasn't the first time Swoopes raised such concerns. Over the past year, she's been a vocal skeptic of Clark's meteoric rise, often suggesting that the media and fan attention surrounding Clark has overshadowed other deserving players. She's questioned everything from Clark's playing style to the legitimacy of her college scoring records. And now, with two promising black rookies being cut, while Clark and her close circle continue to get opportunities, Swoopes made it clear she's not buying the official narrative. Her comments also targeted Lexi Hall and Sophie Cunningham, two players who've been in the league longer and who seem to be favored in the current rotation. With unmistakable sarcasm, Swoopes even joked that perhaps since she's been advised to lay off Clark, she should now focus her critiques on the other white girls on the team. It was a charged remark, one that many saw as a not-so-subtle call-out of perceived systemic bias in the league and within team operations. While Swoopes' commentary may seem confrontational, it's also reignited an important conversation about equity in women's basketball. Are rookies, particularly rookies of color, being given a fair shot? Are media narratives shaping team decisions? And how much of the decision-making comes down to business versus basketball? The Fever's situation, from a purely operational standpoint, is admittedly difficult. With only 11 roster spots available due to salary cap limitations exacerbated by the recent buyout of a large contract, they were in a position where only a few players were realistically at risk of being cut. Veterans like DeWanna Bonner, Natasha Howard, and Kelsey Mitchell are locked into guaranteed deals. Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Lexi Hull are on rookie-scale contracts, but each is viewed as a cornerstone of the team's future. That left a razor-thin margin for newcomers like Hall, Ejim, and Michaela Timpson to break through. Of the three, Timpson is widely considered the most promising. A dynamic forward with defensive versatility, she was drafted 19th overall, but has already impressed during training camp. Her fit within the Fever's system and the team's need for youth in the front court made her the likely survivor of the roster crunch. Still, the question remains, did Hall and Ejim even get a fair chance to compete for that last spot? While fans debate the specifics, Swoopes' frustration taps into a deeper sentiment felt by many longtime followers of the WNBA, that despite progress, the league still has blind spots when it comes to inclusion and recognition. Swoopes is no stranger to pushing back against the establishment. As one of the league's original icons and fiercest competitors, she's earned the right to speak her mind. But her latest tirade has rekindled a fiery divide among fans, with some applauding her for speaking uncomfortable truths and others accusing her of fueling unnecessary division. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss the latest WNBA news and drama.